Idaho Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Empowering blind and visually impaired Idahoans to achieve self-fulfillment by providing quality vocational rehabilitation and independent living services since 1967. Adjusting to visual changes.
Hello there, my name is Scott Pearl, and back in the summer of 2008 I went almost totally blind. And today with me I have my lovely wife Sue. She's going to ask me some questions here about the process of going blind, and she might even answer a question herself here. She was very much a part of this process of me adjusting to blindness, and she could probably answer these questions every bit as good as I can. So
Scott, how did you lose your vision?
Well, when I was 5, I lost my vision in my left eye, cataract, and then back in my early 30s, I lost the vision in my right eye due to iritis. And when I was 10, I was diagnosed with iritis, and it never really did much to my eye or my vision until I was in my early 30s, and then it made me go almost totally blind.
So then I guess we already know how long you've been blind.
Yeah, it's been about, 12 years. It was summer of 2008.
So how long did it take you to get through the grief and loss process?
Well, getting through the grief and loss process was, it was obviously very tough at first. In the first few weeks, I could probably have cried at about everything having to do with my vision loss. And within the first few months, I was still kind of iffy. I would get very emotional, very sad, sometimes angry, and I did not like being blind. I would say the worst of that, though, was over within about a year, maybe. You think it's probably within a year the worst of it was over. I haven't totally come to love it or enjoy it or jump up and down about it. I still have my moments, as my family full well knows, as you know very well. I still have my moments, but it's nothing like it used to be. I've come to accept it, and I've actually come to love life and enjoy it very much.
So what was the hardest part of this for you to adapt to?
The hardest part was losing my driving privileges. And I know that this was frustrating for you. And just having that independence, mobility to get out there and drive, like I used to. And that was difficult, but, we managed. We've managed over the last 12 years. And that was difficult, but, we've gotten through it.
Yes, we have. This is my little part of how it affected our family. When Scott's eyes really went, our kids were very small. Our son was 3, our daughter was a newborn. And it threw everything into a state of complete uncertainty. We didn't know if he'd ever work again. We knew he wouldn't drive again. I didn't know if he'd even cross the street alone again. I was trying to imagine the possibility of functionally being a single parent. And it was scary for a while. We both went through that grief and loss process. There are times I still miss Scott's eyesight. I miss him being able to drive. But we found out fairly quickly that it wasn't the end of the world. That he would be able to work again. He could cross the street by himself. About the only thing he doesn't do is drive. He learned how to cook. He didn't used to.
That's true.
The only thing right now, the big thing is I'm probably the only mother in North America who cannot wait for her son to get his driver's license. So, honey, what mobility devices are you using, and what was that adjustment process like?
Right now I'm using a cane. And at first, I never even dreamed, when I was low vision, I never even dreamed that I would be a cane user. I thought a white cane was for someone who was totally blind. Well, I can see, I don't need a cane. Well, there was that one time when we were in that plaza, remember, and I was holding your hand and our son's hand, and there was some descending steps, and they were the same color, and I didn't see those steps, and I went down. Fortunately, it was only about 3 steps, but otherwise I would have brought all of us down, way down. So in that instance, I should have been using a cane. I didn't start using a cane until I lost so much eyesight. There was just there was no way to get around without a cane anymore. So it was difficult when I was low vision. When I had lost enough vision that there was really no getting around anymore, I was able to accept it much more easily because I knew that this is what had to be done now. And if I wanted to be independent, I wanted to get out and about, and I thought this is just what I'm going to need to do. So that's what I did.
And what technology are you using?
I'm using a computer with JAWS for Windows as the screen reader. And my phone, I've been using the iPhone with VoiceOver for several years. But in the last couple of months, my wife convinced me to go the Android route. And so I'm using Android with TalkBack. And so that's what I'm using now.
And last question, how do you feel about being blind now? Is that different today than when you first lost your vision?
Yeah, the way I feel now is very different from when I first lost my vision. When I first lost it, I was very sad, depressed, angry, just everything negative. But because of your support, very much your support, the Idaho Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired and the Assessment and Training Center, and the work that they did, and through time, I have just come to living the life I want to live. I enjoy getting out and about and getting in nature with my family. I have a wonderful job that I enjoy very much, and I'm very independent. I can help out around the house. Being blind now is just a characteristic, like being bald or like aging. You know, being blind is just something else another characteristic that I have, and it's not a tragedy anymore. It's an irritation, is what it is. But I've got a lot of irritations, and so it's just something I've adapted to, and we've adapted to, and we love living life and getting out and about. So, yeah. Do you have any final thoughts about?
Yeah, getting you into the ATC as quickly as we did made a huge difference.
It was big.
Instead of losing a lot of time in worrying about what was going to happen, if I remember right, the whole process might have been 9 or 10 months.
Yeah. So.
And that was from square one. Can't even walk down the stairs by himself across the street to being employed again.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It's hard, it's sad, but it's a challenge.
It's sad at the beginning. It's not always going to be sad. It can go to the point of an irritation, a frustration, but most days I don't even think about it. And hopefully that's the point where people can get to, is they just don't even think about it anymore. I don't think about very often the fact that I don't have any hair on top of my head. That doesn't bother me that much, except maybe when my daughter laughs at me or something. But the same thing with blindness. I don't typically think about that either. So anyway, well, thank you, honey, for joining me here, and thank you, folks.
For more information, please visit our website at www.icbvi.idaho.gov or call us at 208-334-3220.